seen that it's finally been confirmed that Ryan Garcia is going to fight Luke Campbell um, for an interim WBC belt or a shot at the interim or the actual WBC lightweight champion. It's a very complicated situation with the belts at the moment. You obviously got Lomachenko, who's seen as the franchise champion. You got Devin Haney, who's seen as the WBC champion, and the winner of this actual particular fight between Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell will become the interim champion. Just trying to explain this stuff to casual boxing fans. Forget about casual boxing fans. This type of stuff just seems very complex for even a hardcore fan like myself or other fans just to get their head around. It just seems like the WBC keep creating new belts for whenever they fit the purpose to see that there's a new belt to be had. It seems like obviously the sanctioning bodies have just they're creating all of these belts so fighters can pay sanctioning fees for bouts so they can make a lot of money. That's basically the only logical reason I can think of them actually doing this, because it just dilutes the value of the actual belt. If there's too many belts in one weight class, then there's not one genuine belt in the weight class. There's just too many. If you look at the UFC, they obviously do have one belt, which is the um, UFC title, but sometimes they come up with interim belts in a certain instance because to cover for certain instances when, for example, there's two fighters that have a legit claim to holding the number one mandatory position within a organization. But in this situation, it just doesn't make any sense with what's going on. Um, it literally makes zero sense. So I just don't know what to say about this situation. In terms of the fight itself, I actually think it's a good step up for Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, when he actually started his career, I wasn't too impressed with him. I feel like he didn't show enough head movement. He had very fast hands and he did have good feet movement, but his head movement was quite lacking. But ever since he got with Canelo's trainer, um, he seems like he's starting to adopt a bit of Canelo's traits, and he is starting to show a bit of maturity in his game, and he's starting to step down on his shots, starting to put power in his shots as well. So it's quite interesting to see how his game develops. When he fights Luke Campbell's a very, very, very game fighter. He's obviously gave Lomachenko a very good fight. I think he won around 3, 4 rounds on most people's scorecards when he fought Lomachenko. And if you look at it, he also gave Leonarez a very good fight, who Leonarez also gave um, Fingy a very good fight, Lomachenko a good fight, and dropped him. So Luke Campbell's right up there. He may not have won a world title yet, but it's because he's competing in a weight class just so stacked with talent. You got obviously got the Devin Haney's, you got the Javante Davis, you got Lomachenko, you got Leonarez, you got these elite fighters. When there's so many good fighters in a weight class, it's very difficult for you to stand above the rest. You also got fighters like Teofimo Lopez and other all of these other fighters. Teofimo Lopez, ironically, is going to fight Lomachenko soon. So you go in one weight class when there's so many monsters. Luke Campbell at a certain different time in history, when the weight class wasn't so competitive, may have been a world titleist, may have held a version of the world title, especially if there's 4 world titles to be had. But at this point in time, is as good as he is, it's very difficult for him to show how good he actually is because he's surrounded by so much talent. It reminds me of like the lightweight division in the UFC. Um, you obviously got so many good fighters like Justin Gaethje, you got Tony Ferguson, you got Dustin Poirier, you obviously got Khabib who holds the title. To some extent, you also got fighters like Dan Hooker. You got all of these monsters that are in one weight class, the Kevin Lees, and it's very difficult to stand heads up above the rest of the group when you're surrounded by so much talent. Um, you're just surrounded by so much talent, so it's just very difficult to like stand up ahead of the group. But any of these fighters, if there was a certain time during the lightweight division when there wasn't so much talent, they could have held the title because they're so talented. But I think it really shows though. Anyone that holds a world title at this point, in a weight class so competitive, it shows that they're a really good fighter. At least they're not competing in a weight class that's not condensed with talent. You need talent to see who's the actual best. It could be that upsets happen. Teofimo Lopez, obviously, not a lot of people are giving him a chance against Lomachenko, but you never know. He might be able to land a shot and drop Lomachenko. It could happen. Lomachenko has already been beaten before, and he did show vulnerability in his fight against Jorge Leonares when he got dropped. So these things can happen, and especially in a weight class that's this competitive. I'm not saying Teofimo Lopez would definitely win, but if he was to drop Lomachenko, it wouldn't be so much of a big shock. So, in my opinion, Ryan Garcia does have his work cut out for him. He obviously got this fight against Luke Campbell, who's a very game operator and is given the top fighters in his weight class a run for their money. And he's never been totally outclassed by any of the fighters that he's fought. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes from here, man. Ryan Garcia, it's a real step up in class for him. If he can whitewash Luke Campbell, I wasn't that much of a big fan of Ryan Garcia when he came. I felt like he was more flash and pataz than fundamentals and actual genuine skills. I felt like he looked better than he actually was. But if he is stepping himself up in this type of way, then I think it's great that he's doing this. He could hopefully make himself stand out in the pack. If he was to beat Luke Campbell in a more convincing fashion than Leonares did or Lomachenko did, then it would be very good for his career. So that's my point. I think that would be actually great. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this particular fight, and I hope to hear from you soon. Peace out.